we're going to solve a system of equation. We're going to use the substitution method. So first, we're going to solve either equation for one variable. So I'm going to pick the top equation because I can choose either one. And I'm going to solve for x because x has a coefficient of 1. It's the easiest one to solve for. So I am going to solve for x. So I'm going to move the negative 5y to the other side, making it a positive 5y. So that is step 1. I solved for one of the variables. Now I'm going to substitute this equation into the x for this other equation. So I'm going to write this equation, negative 7, and instead of x, I'm going to put what I just solved for inside. So I have plus 8y equals negative 10. I'm going to substitute this inside for x. Where that x is, that's where it's going to go. Now I can solve for y. So negative 7 times 5, that's negative 35y. Negative 7 times 13, that's negative 91. And then plus 8y equals negative 10. Now I can combine like terms. So negative 35y plus 8y is negative 27y. And then I can add 91 to both sides. Negative 10 plus 91 is 81. Now I'm going to divide both sides by negative 27. So I get y is equal to negative 3. Now that I found what y is equal to, I can plug this into here to figure out what x is. So I have x is equal to 5y plus 13. And we just discovered that y is negative 3. So I get x is equal to negative 15 plus 13. So x is negative 2. So the point of intersection is negative 2, negative 3. If I were to graph these two lines, they would intersect at negative 2, negative 3. So it would look something like this. Negative 2, negative 3 is the intersection where those two lines cross. So we figured out the solution. And the solution means where do they intersect? They intersect at negative 2, negative 3. I'm going to get the y by itself. So I'm going to move the 3x to the other side. So this becomes negative 2y equals negative 3x plus 30. Now I'm going to divide every single thing by this negative 2. So this becomes y equals a negative over a negative will make this a positive 3/2. 15 divided by negative 2, this will become a minus 15. This is the second equation. I'm going to write it down. And in the place of y, I'm going to draw parentheses. I'm going to substitute this y expression into where y is. So where the y is, I'm going to replace it with this expression. 3/2 x minus 15. Now notice, this whole equation just has x's. So I'm going to go ahead and solve for x. 5 times 3 is 15. Divided by 2 is 7.5. So this becomes 7.5 with an x. 5 times negative 15 is negative 75. Everything else can just come down. This can come down. Now I'm going to combine like terms. These both have x's on them. So 7x plus 7.5x is 14.5x. I can now add 75 to both sides. Negative 17 plus 75 is 58. Now you can divide both sides by 14.5. So x is equal to 58 divided by 14.5 is 4. Okay, so to find the y value, you can plug this in right here, and that will give you y. So I can erase this x and substitute it with a 4 because we just said x is 4. 3 times 4 is 12, divided by 2 is 6. Okay, so this whole thing is 6 minus 15. 6 minus 15 is negative 9. So I found my coordinate. Those two lines intersect at 4, negative 9. So I'm not sure what these lines look like, what their slopes are, but at 4, negative 9, those two lines intersect. Substitution method again. I'm going to solve for y, so I'm going to move the 2x to the other side. So this will look like negative y equals, when you move the 2x to the other side, it's now negative 2x. The 16 is still positive. Now I'm going to divide everything by negative 1. So this will be y equals, negative over a negative will be positive, and this will be a minus 16. Now I'm going to substitute this expression into this y. So I'm going to write this equation, 6, and instead of y, I'm going to put parentheses and substitute 2x minus 16 in. Now I can go ahead and solve for x. So 6 times 2 is 12x. 6 times negative 16 is negative 96. I can already tell this is false. How can I add 5 to 12x and over here subtract 96 from 12x, and yet they're the same? You have an equal sign. So I already know this is no solution. However, if you didn't catch that, we can continue solving. So I can subtract 12x over here, that's gone. Subtract 12x over here, that's gone. I'm left with 5 is equal to negative 96, which is not true, that's false. So it's no solution, and what that means is that these two lines do not share a point. In our previous example, they share this point. That's where they intersect. This point is on this line, and it's also on this line. They share that point. That's also true for this example. They share this point. However, we got no solution, so these two lines don't share a point. That means these two lines are parallel. I hope you learned something. Now go try some on your own.